when someone just says like, "What are you gonna do? Beat the shit out of me?" And then that comedy happens in quick beats, which I always like. And I always love Umandat, who is in this movie as well.
Yeah.
He inhaled the judge after one of those scenes that I described. He essentially turned to one of the audience members in the courtroom. It's like, I don't know why he requested to have himself beat up. We just did it. Hail the Judge, by the way, best Stephen Chow movie for me. Did you ever see that one?
Hail to the Judge. No.
Yeah, it's actually once you get past like the 20, 30 minutes, first 20 minutes, it seems like a tough comedy to take in. A lot of verbal jokes and all that.
Oh. Oh.
The quickness of Hong Kong movies, things gotta move fast. They shoot these movies in 1, 2 weeks sometimes. So no elaborate makeup, just throw the blood and goo on them.
We.
Probably real equipment.
Aye.
I mean, because we get a behind the scenes look at Hong Kong movies. I would have loved to see a real trampoline instead, akin to the old days.
Aye, aye. I
Yeah.
mind seeing shots. Uh, that extra footage, Game of Death. That had some scenes where I think like James Tien had jumped towards. Must have been I think Akeem Abdul-Jabbar.
Hmm.
Like when their fight was extended, I think he basically jumped into the shot, then got grabbed by the neck, and
Hmm.
but they do that all the time, just to emphasize an entrance. Like they're either off camera, standing on a table,
Look at this. This is the type of scene that I was
they're
talking about.
folding chairs.
Yeah, just everyone beating one guy, albeit here they were just trying to kill a cockroach. He was doing his job, a good extra. So he learned. All about learning. Let's see if he's all right. I'm fine. Thank you for your concern. So I think Stephen has, to many people, and especially one of my closest friends that has watched a few of these movies, he always loved that Stephen was very kind. He was very, amidst all this madness, he was so kind and so pleasant, sympathetic. The country bumpkin, often, the guy coming to the big city. And I think this is one of those great scenes where audiences like, man, I love this guy's presence. He did well, and audience are happy for him to do well. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And he's never been unsympathetic overall. I mean, there's been elements in his movies where he's quite a dick,
Hmm.
especially in Kung Fu Hustle, obviously trying to be a
Oh,
bad guy.
he's brilliant. Like, it is such a brilliant film. He does so well in it, but he's such an asshole in it.
Laughing at the girl. Ha ha ha
That is
ha!
the best moment where he's just getting so loud and just he's fucking pointing and screaming, hollering. He's like,
Uh-oh.
oh, this man's just a dick on all levels.
This is the perils of movie sets. Ooh.
Uh oh.
Karen Mock, the last movie before this, the last Stephen Chow movie before this, she was ugly as hell. Because God of Cookery she was made up to be very, very ugly.
Oh, was it? I vaguely remember. Was she scarred or?
Well, buck teeth and probably scarred and all of that. So, and I don't think I had seen a Karen Mock movie firmly
Hmm.
before this. So I didn't know what she really looked like. But obviously, she looks absolutely beautiful, Karen Mock. And
All for the lunchbox.
yeah, the classic lunchbox on the Hong Kong movie sets, your rice box.
Hmm.
And it's obviously a quite, that was the case. There was no
Oh.
there was no luxury on Hong Kong movie sets. Chow and Fat, Andy Lau, and the likes, they didn't have their own trailer with their own catering and shit like that. No, everybody sat down on the streets, ate their rice box, and got on with filming. I don't think Andy Lau and Chow and Fat would have had time to sit down in a trailer
Hmm.
because they were off making so many
Oh, and man, cat
good old Uncle Tat.
donning a fucking doom.
Yeah, and in God of Cookery, no mustache. He was not recognizable in God of Cookery. He played this corporate like enemy, I guess, of it.
Oh yeah, I mind
That's
it.
Stephen Chow.
He did kind of have a little bit big hair.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
One of the like long-lasting comedic collaborations is obviously between Stephen Chow and all the way back to All for the Winner, and plenty of other movies, and they built up great chemistry together.
Yeah, I loved them in the Fight Back to School movies.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I'm being vague again, but was the janitor in there as well?
At
Like
least the
he was just
first one, I
something like the
think.
school
Yeah,
janitor.
yeah, I think so. At least the first one. The second one I don't remember. Other than it was great the second one to have an early 90s movie from Stephen Chow be in sync sound. The second one it
Mm,
has live sound, which is always
mm,
great.
mm.
Even though Stephen always dubbed his voice,
Ah,
but still it adds. Obviously, it's a logical and thing that obviously professionalism is heightened to a large degree when shooting live sound.
mm. I always loved the scene in Fight Back to School 2 when they're interrogating. Man, it had to be. I think it was Blackie Co again, and they're just holding a phone book against him and started beating hell out of it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, going Danny Lee on him, going OCTB on him. Phone books and all.
Mhm,
And I guess the girls need to know how to act in front of their customers. Therefore, they go to Stephen Chow as to get some acting tips.
mhm.
And I know Cecilia was very abusive towards Stephen in this scene.
And he just has that naivety about him,
Hmm.
where it's like, no, they're here to learn. It's fine.
Yeah, it doesn't really take. He can swash. He doesn't take abuse like he doesn't feel the abuse as such, or he can swallow it
Hmm.
easily. You know what I mean? So it's not necessarily ignorance either. You know what I mean? You damned extra. In fact, I'm
Hmm.
an actor.
I would have hit her with a folding chair by now.
And they would have been able to make that comedy work. Just have a folding chair
Hmm.
come out of
Oh,
left field and all that.
that looks like a fucking toothpaste tube of wasabi. That's a practical joke waiting to happen.
But I think, amongst other things in this movie, I think this comes from a personal place as well, or a little bit of constructive place as well. To like that acting is important, and showing emotions in a very basic way is important, and also, I mean, obviously, he's a struggling actor, so to
Hmm.
keep at it, practice your art is important as well. Drive, have drive, have passion, and all of that. Uh, don't be distracted, and I'm saying that because he will be distracted in the later scene, the later classic scene in this setting up the fact. Here we go. Was that a folding chair? Why must you behave like this? Don't panic. It's all right.
Ah.
And look at this. This is the typical comedy where someone gets beaten, off screen.
Hmm.
I love that. Steven was. And they had that in a movie like Tricky Brains as well. And I'm only saying that because Tricky Brains, I think, has the classic wear for Stephen Chow. I think he has a tracksuit that says "I am naked" or something like that. He goes to a club and he has that stupid like tracksuit, "I am naked," which is a classic thing out of that Andy Lau Stephen Chow movie, where I think Stephen plays like the king of tricksters or something like that.
Mm.
They hire him for trickery, I guess.
Hmm.
It's a very funny early 90s movie, that one.
This is where acting skills going to have to come into play.
Yep, exactly.
Oh.
Let's make fun of obese people, or not. Maybe
Hmm.
maybe they will not go that low.
There we are. Oh. You know that was an arm wearing a shoe.
Wonder if this was even ever up for consideration for a remake. It probably was, but it wouldn't have had this kind of flavor, and this kind of abusive comedy. It would have just been the idea of remaking this story. You know what I mean? So Shaolin Soccer was up for, I think, a remake consideration at one point,
Mm.
and there was even like a fake by a fan poster with Jim Carrey inserted in Stephen Chow's place.
Oh.
But as these things go, not all things turn into remakes. The Killer was slated for a remake once upon a